Happy New Year and happy Thursday. It's time once again for one of our weekly iHomeschool Network iHomeschool Hangouts. I'm Diana Kennedy. I'll be your host today, moderating the panel of my iHomeschool Network team. Welcome. This is going to be our first Hangout for 2014. We're thrilled to have you here. You can find us here on Google Plus each week on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can also find us over on YouTube. And newly announced, we just converted some of our Hangouts to podcasts as well, so you can find us on iTunes. We'll be sure to leave that link over in the show notes over on the event page too. So when I'm not representing the iHomeschool Network, you can find me at thekennedyadventures.com, where I write about Catholic homeschooling resources, managing a large family. I'm the soon-to-be mother of 6, and also a little bit of living my faith and trying to stay fit. I've got some great ladies here with me on the panel today, and I'll have them introduce themselves as well. Cindy?
All right, I am Cindy West, and I am from OurJourneyWestward.com and ShiningDawnBooks.com. I write a lot about just homeschooling creatively in general, lots of Charlotte Mason stuff, and I write lots of nature explorer books and some other creative curriculum.
Excellent. Cindy's been with us before, but we're glad to have her back. What about you, Heidi?
Hello there, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm Heidi, and you can find me over at startsatat8.com, which is my own personal blog, blogging about homeschool, high school, books, photography. And when I'm not there, you can also find me over at Hip Homeschool Moms, doing social media and contributing posts over there.
Awesome. As you guys have noticed, a lot of us wear many different hats. We have our home base of our own blogs, and then we will also write for other publications as well. Marlene is my production manager. Marlene, introduce yourself too.
Hey everyone, I'm Marlene Griffith. I blog over at adiligent.heart.com about faith, family, marriage, kids, and life, and you can find me all over the web. I blog at other places too, but that's my main hub.
Excellent. Today we are going to talk to you about winter learning. It's pretty appropriate that here in Kentucky today it's snowing. Cindy's in Kentucky too, but she's a little bit further west. No, yeah. She's not quite. She's about an hour away from me. I don't know if it's snowing with where she is or not. But we're going to talk about winter learning. We've got some talking points to handle, and then we're also going to look at the event page and field some questions from you guys or get some tips to kind of help us keep. We'll talk a little bit about burnout. We'll talk a little bit about how to keep everybody from just getting intense cabin fever, what kind of things we learn about in the winter if you take a break. So we'll hit a few different topics here to kind of kick off the year. I'm going to actually start with cabin fever, if you guys don't mind, because in my house, we have many small children and many underfoot. So if they don't get their energy out, it can be a little bit chaotic and just a kind of a raucous mess around here. So I'd love for the girls on the panel to chat with us about how you cure cabin fever, both for yourself during these winter months and then also for the children. I'd love to hear what you guys have to share and offer that.
For us, we have a couple of really great local museums here, including one called the Strong National Museum of Play, which is all about the kids. And the one thing that's really great about that is that you can get a fairly inexpensive membership for the year and visit as often as you want, as opposed to trying to go to some place like a Chuck E. Cheese or a play place where it's very expensive to have a lot of children to go. Museums, especially the National Museum of Play here is a great way to take, especially the little ones, when my kids were younger. My littlest is 7 now, but when they were younger, a girlfriend of mine and I would meet at the mall, and we would stroller walk. Ones that were walking walked, ones that were littler, we put in a stroller, and we got our exercise, got our mommy social time, but got everybody out of the house and got everybody moving. So those are two big ways to get out here, unless you want to go out in the freezing cold snow, which we are currently experiencing here again in New York. And then I'm not much of a winter snow person, so we take the kids out sometimes, but I'm not much for being out in the cold.
I have to add in and let everybody know that the majority of us on the panel are either Southerners or transplanted Southerners. Cindy and I are here in Kentucky. Marlene was a Texas girl, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's going back. She's up north in Wisconsin at the moment, and Heidi admitted to us that although she was born and raised in New York, she could hop on down past the Mason-Dixon line and join us Southern girls in a heartbeat. Cindy, what about you guys? What do you do for cabin fever?
I have a ton of ideas, really. First and foremost for us is exercise. We have exercise time here at the house. I try to dole out television based on exercise. So if you do the treadmill for 30 minutes, then you can hang out in front of the TV for another 30 minutes. We also have joined the Y for these cold months, and that helps a ton. I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old, so we're kind of all scattered, but we do try to do what we can together. And so the Y is a really good place for that. We can all go and play basketball or swim or just whatever to get some exercise, and that's huge. Being in Kentucky is very helpful to be able to get outside. If it were -15, like Marlene told us earlier that it's going to be where she is, I wouldn't suggest outside, but here in Kentucky, that's what Nature Explorers is all about. We believe in getting outside in the fresh air and the exercise all times of the year, including in the winter, and it really helps a lot with cabin fever. A couple other things really quick that get us out of the house and out of those blahs is field trips. I plan a lot of field trips for the winter time, and service projects. When we start getting down and out about ourselves, it really helps us to go out and help other people, do things for other people, and it brightens our spirits during these blue times.
Those are some awesome ideas from both of you girls. I'm glad that Heidi mentioned the stroller walking, because that's something that I haven't done for a while, mostly because my kids hated the strollers. They all hated the strollers. But I did remember a group of women that did that when Rachel was small, and she's 7. So that's been quite some time ago. And I love the idea of museums. I'm trying to think. I don't think we have a hangout on museums. I know that we have a hangout on field trips, like Cindy mentioned about planning field trips. So if you want to go back through our YouTube channel and check that out. I know there's a thing there on field trips. And then too, I don't know, my kids, Cindy, I don't know about yours, mine don't seem to mind the cold weather. I mean, they could care less about if it's 95 or 15. I mean, they'll go outside regardless. It's mom, it's mom that doesn't want to get out when it's too terribly cold. And the idea of linking exercise to screen time, oh my gosh, I'm like, seriously, write that down so that I can tell my husband, because our kids all got new electronic devices, of course, for Christmas, and they've been, plugged in ever since, which is, it allows me to get some things done. But by the same token, I have to A, hear the fighting over different things and different games, and B, then, yeah, you're like, okay, please don't sit there and play that for 4 hours, because I didn't notice because I was too busy getting things done because you weren't in my hair. So that's a challenge for me. For us, we don't do anything particularly wonderful and out of the ordinary. We're a big sports family. My daughter still rides, even in the winter. Horseback riding is what she does. I just don't go to the barn because it's a little cold. But like I said, she doesn't seem to mind. She just layers up and they go. I mean, it's indoors, but it's in a barn. You're not going to be able to heat that really well. It's not as bad as it being outside, but it's still pretty chilly. And then we just kicked up with indoor soccer. We're big soccer people all year round. So this is our first foray into indoor soccer. And I was actually surprised that it was cold there too, because it's just like in a gym. So it wasn't as warm as I had anticipated. So but once again, the kids didn't seem to mind. Rachel had stripped down to her, to her shorts and a tank top by the end of practice, and I was like, "Aren't you freezing?" No, not at all. She was ready to go. So a lot of times they don't seem to mind the cold weather as much as I do personally. Um, what about do we have tips for helping moms out with cabin fever? So we got the kids kind of like, here's the things that the kids can do. What about ourselves? Because I know that we talked about a little bit in the green room about seasonal affective disorder, kind of getting down because of the weather and the gray skies, that sort of thing. Are there things that you do for yourselves to kind of keep your spirits up?
I can tackle that. Exercise and vitamin D and eating right are huge for me as far as seasonal affective disorder. And I know you have another hangout that talks specifically about that kind of stuff. Um, but in order for me to be able to be the good homeschool mom that I need to be during the winter, I've got to have some energy, and those things are huge. Getting outside with my kids is big. I hate to be cold too. You wouldn't believe that from the nature lady. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But I force myself to get outside. That fresh air makes a big difference in my attitude.
Okay, can I just say that sometimes I'm just happy to leave the house alone to go pick my child up from the gym. That's it. My husband will be like, "Oh, I can go do it." No, honey, really. 10 minutes in the car without anybody sounds fantastic right now. So as crazy as that sounds, sometimes I just can't get away from the kids very often, but we'll be home in the evening and I'll have one that's needs to be picked up, and I am happy for that 15, 20 minutes of me time. We also are blessed that we have a great community center here where we live that has an indoor track. And my husband and our two younger children twice a week head over to the track, and we walk, run, whatever, our own pace, the track. And our community center also has great activities, other activities for the kids as well. But we kind of like to do, like Cindy said, the exercise is helpful. It's helpful to to your body, and it makes us feel better. And it's something that we can actually all do together. And so during the winter months, we kick up hitting the community center track. It's free. We can do it together, and it's good for everybody.
I'm a little jealous that you and Cindy have like the Ys and things that are close by. We don't. I don't have anything like that. Like we have it's called All About Kids. It's just like this giant sportsplex center with pools and various things. Everything where we live is about a half hour away. If I wanted to like take everybody and do that like you guys do. I'm glad that Cindy mentioned we do have a hangout from a few weeks ago, back before Christmas, about keeping healthy during the winter. We talked a lot about nutrition and essential oils and golly, what else? We hit exercise a little bit. We went pretty deep into essential oils and kind of offbeat foods that we all use to kind of stay healthy. So that would be a good one too to kind of keep an eyeball on for like seasonal affective disorder, that kind of thing. Um, and I'm with you, Heidi. On the way to work, to and from work, I have about a 30-minute commute. I turn the radio off and just ride in quiet because I know once I get home it's going to be loud and ruckus. So I just kind of sit and chill for a little bit. For me, I was actually talking to Trisha Hodges over on G Plus yesterday. Quiet time is at a premium for me here with lots of littles. But the older I get and the grumpier, it seems like it's more and more important to me. So that's gonna be a focus for me this year, is to stay kind of keep on track of that and just make sure that I'm getting enough time for myself just to be alone. Um, I haven't exercised as much as I should be. I'm a runner, but on hiatus at the moment for being pregnant, and while my diet has improved, my exercise status has not. So I really need to get back on track with that. So I'm hoping to do some yoga or something before this baby gets here. That way, it's another time to have some time alone to myself and not, just kind of a little bit more focus. Marlene, do we have people over in the event room that have shared comments or questions?
We sure do. We have a couple people. Oh, I thought I pulled it up. Wait, there you go. Sorry. All right. So other people talking about the YMCA membership. Caitlin says we got a YMCA membership too. It's so nice. Went there today. All the kids go to Child Watch. Ashley Pache says walking to the mailbox in the cold, fresh air is a huge boost for me during a particularly rough day. Also, I love shoveling the snow. It's a great workout.
I'm going to call her the next time I have snow that needs to be shoveled.
Yes. And then Mary Prather said, she's saying to Cindy West, she says, we did the exact same thing. No television or iPod unless you've walked the dog, done some Wii Fit, or ridden your bike, etc. We've been doing this for a very long time, and it's very helpful. Those are all the comments for now.
May I add that Wii Fit, Connect, anything like that, those are wonderful. I don't always say you have to get on the treadmill. We have a basement that's just not finished, and I have a little kid's basketball goal, one of those toddler ones, and they put it up on a table and they just go at it. So it doesn't have to be necessarily a treadmill, but yes, something that gets them active is a trade-off for us for TV time. So I'm glad other people, Mary, I'm glad you do that too.
We actually have a PlayStation, and for many, many years we played. We still do play Dance Dance Revolution with the dance pads. We hook up two of them side by side, and everybody has at it. We've been doing it for years, and we used to joke. We have videos of my son at about I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, and we called it his hamster wheel because he would get on that thing and just pound it out. But he has trouble sitting still, has trouble focusing, and for him, he'd get 15, 20 minutes of work done, and it's like, okay, goodbye, go hit the DDR, come see me in 15, 20 minutes when you're sweating and you're ready to settle down again. And in the cold winter months when you don't want to get outside and don't necessarily have anywhere that you can go, it's really a small investment to make in in something like that, like some sort of gaming system like the Wii, or things that have more active games that your kids can play alone or as a family. I almost punched a hole through the wall in our finished family room ceiling playing beach volleyball with my husband. So sometimes we get more than a little active with a video game, which sometimes people typically, it's like, oh, video games, but there are a lot of active choices that you can make with them to get your energy out.
I'm getting a mental picture of you with the beach volleyball. Heidi's super competitive apparently too, right? We've done a little bit of that. We have a mini tramp that we use that my husband found at the Goodwill for like $15. So we would actually even do things like review math facts, like we're jumping as we're doing school, or we're jumping as we're doing spelling words, because, yeah, my daughter would have the wiggles big time. So, yeah, we would do that to kind of get some things done and keep her happy. And she thought it was a riot. So, hey, whatever works.
Diana, I would also mention throwing balls, anything where you're doing spelling words or math facts or whatever. During the winter especially, if you can get them moving, not only does it burn off some winter energy, but especially for kinesthetic kids, that's a fantastic way to get it in their brain.
Thank you for that. And see, that's why we have all these wonderful experts, because we all bring in something different to the panel. It's awesome. And I enjoy chatting with my friends when I'm doing this, and then I also end up learning so much from listening to everybody. So, all right, well, let's talk about what kind of things do we study, or do you study in your homeschool during the winter? Like, do you do special things like study the weather. This is a good time of year to do like, Arctic penguins, polar bear people, that kind of thing, Eskimos. And then we've got things like holidays coming up, Martin Luther King Day, Valentine's Day, Lent, all kind of during this cold weather season. So what do you guys tackle? Anything different or fun out of the ordinary?
Oh, the Winter Olympics are coming this year. We are definitely, we did it last time, 2 years ago when the Winter Olympics came around, and I was surprised how much fun I had, stopping in and checking out different events, ones that I wouldn't normally watch, or the kids and I really had a good time doing Winter Olympics. So we are definitely slated to stop and take some time on the Winter Olympics this year. We also do cover Martin Luther King or something Black History Month. 6 years ago now, on Martin Luther King Day, we started a neighborhood food drive that we organize and run. And so we spend the few days before putting out posters and flyers. And I think we hit about 500 homes, just my husband and I and the kids. And we collect food and take it to a local food bank. So that's something we do on Martin Luther King Day every year now for the past 6 years. And obviously with the littler ones, I switched to doing some penguins or Arctic or polar bears or something like that. My high schooler, not so much. She's got her own stuff going on to tackle. But those are the major ones that we're looking forward to this year.
And I would say for us, uh, just like Heidi said, we do a lot of, I call them Pinterest things for the little ones. And that would be like if you go and search a Pinterest board for winter or Valentine's or Martin Luther King or just whatever, winter ideas, all those fun things. We'll do the regular school, and then in the afternoon we'll do some of the fun stuff. With my older ones, don't do so much of that, but over the years we have kind of spent the afternoons in general, but especially in the winter, just focusing on fun stuff. And it's still learning, but I'm thinking game time. I put a link on the Google Hangout board of all kinds of educational games that we play. We have game afternoons, we have art afternoons, we have science experiment afternoons. Sometimes I'm involved in those. Sometimes I'm just saying, here's an experiment book. You guys go do something while I have a break. Um, and then, of course, there's still lots and lots of nature study to do. I'll throw that plug in there. Winter is an awesome time for snow, ice, frost, animals, animal signs, rock studies, tree studies, cloud studies, weather studies. So there's still tons of learning that can center around winter if you wanted to do a theme like that, or just get outside and do nature study once or twice a week just to get that fresh air.
I'm glad you gave a plug for both of those. And I was thinking about Heidi. You'll laugh. I'd actually forgotten all about the Winter Olympics because my husband and I are busy discussing World Cup, which is not till the summer, of course. But soccer people, we're all we're all concerned about World Cup around here. I've forgotten about the Olympics. But I know that one of our IHN members, Trisha from Hodgepodge Mom. If you go and look her up, she just released or is about ready to release her Winter Olympics art book. That'll have tutorials about how to do chalk pastels that are kind of all centered around the Winter Olympics. And then I'm glad that Cindy mentioned Pinterest because I know that I follow all of the IHN people on Pinterest because we tend to have some rockin' Pinterest boards. And I don't know, maybe we're just Pinterest nerds, but I like to organize mine, topic, I have a winter crafts and books Pinterest board, and my kids love to get on Pinterest, and I will open up a board and say, okay, here, you can actually look at I have a kid-friendly recipe one, whereas Rachel has gone through and I said, okay, if you see something that you want to do, just write your name in the comments. So now I'm scrolling through my Pinterest things and I'm like, who wrote that? Oh yeah. Why does it say Rachel? Because she's gone through. That's her way of picking what she wants to do to let me know. Okay, yeah, this is the one this is a kid approved one. Let's get this one done. And I'm
Like,
seeing some. Go ahead. I was seeing
I
some
was
stuff on
just
the
going to
Pinterest
say
board.
For my older child, she has her own Pinterest, and she has a very unique sort of kind of illness where she's allergic to cold. So she cannot get out in really, really cold weather, and she gets bummed really easily, especially when schoolwork is over. So she has her own Pinterest board, and I really encourage her one Pinterest thing a day. Go find something cool and let's do it. And it helps keep her active during the winter. And man, the girl can clean and cook and craft all because of Pinterest and the time that she has to do that.
Love. Whoops, I think I was muted. I said I love that idea. That is awesome. And I'm seeing some things come across on the event page. Marlene, I think I saw some things come over from Ashley. Did she mention some comments?
Ashley Pache, she mentioned that cold months are a great time for home ec learning, baking, cleaning, etc. We also got some pretty cool comments here from Lucy Cash. She says, we do go outside for long walks when it's not raining to gather items for our nature table. George adores his microscope, so we try to get multiples of seed pods, etc., in case he decides to run an experiment. We live close to the mountains and have great parks here, and we make the most out of it. Ashley Pache also said that Dr. Seuss's birthday is in March, so that's a fun activity to get in during the winter months. That's what I got so far.
Now, speaking of Pinterest, I know I've already started a Dr. Seuss board, and I think that we're planning a Dr. Seuss link up with IHN as well. So if you guys keep your eyes peeled, because we'll have lots of fun stuff for that. And it sounds like Cindy and Lucy would be great friends. the science and nature moms. That's awesome. Oh, excuse me. And I know, like, kind of, if you look at the school year, if you're not a year-round schooler, if you started like in the fall, about this time of year we're getting to be kind of at the halfway point. So during the winter, when things are a little slower, you don't have as many activities to be involved in, perhaps, like as opposed to the busy spring and summer. I'm sorry, spring and fall. Are you guys thinking about next year's curriculum? Do you start looking at that in the winter time, or is that like totally not even on the radar at this moment?
Can I just say how people put me to shame? Because I cannot think of next year yet. I'm just so not there. I'm just struggling to have the rest of this year in order. And yes, Diana, I am an order freak. We all know it. I like everything planned out and orderly. But I know, and I just can't do it until, well, we take a big vacation like April, early April-ish. Usually we're usually gone for a couple of weeks. And it's usually after that then it's like, okay, we're winding down, and then I can start thinking of next year. But man, I envy those people that already can have everything, rolling and in place for next year. But it is definitely not something that I am ready to tackle at this point. I'm just coming up, getting ready to come off our 2 weeks off for Christmas and trying to get everybody back in the swing of, okay, there's things that need to get done. My teenager, you can't sleep till 10:30 every day anymore. You need to get up, and because she would be our kid, and she was like this as a baby, up at 11 and in the morning and not go to bed till 11 at night, and that just doesn't work for me. We need to have a little more time in the evening where everyone's settled down. But yeah, no, I'm not ready for new curriculum for next year yet.
Now I have to admit that was not my question. That was Jimmy. She brainstormed that one, because if you all have listened to the hangouts during the course of the year, you know that at the end of this year, I'm just going to declare this 2013-14 homeschool year a hot mess, because I have been so completely out of sorts with being pregnant and new job and just cannot get together for anything. So I'm going to be on the year-round plan. So no, I'm not thinking about next year, because heavens to Betsy, I'm trying to still figure out how to get through this year. I got the binder right over here. How are we going to make this happen? So no, I'm not thinking about next year. I'm surprised. I am a little bit surprised that you're not yet, though. You know, Cindy, what about you?
No, I don't think about next year until spring. I'm reevaluating this past semester right now and trying to decide how we can tweak and like you said, Diana, get things completely done through May. So I don't start thinking about new school until maybe April, May.
I'm gonna be on the, I'm gonna hope to finish by July, because we'll take a break again in March, because the baby being here. So we're just kind of plodding through. Um, we're doing school on the weekends, which my daughter just cannot. She hates that, but I mean, I don't know what I don't know what else to do. I'm too much of a control freak. This is totally off topic from winter learning, but I'm too much of a control freak to just scrap the whole shebang, because I thought about that very briefly, to just say, okay, fine, this is going to be your sabbatical, and we're just not going to do school this year. But I know myself well enough that I would beat myself up to a pulp if I ever did that. So that would just not ever work for us. So, once again, and it says common theme with our hangouts, you have to do what works for you and your family. So we'll offer you tips and advice, but what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So, well, let me talk real quick about like we tackled Martin Luther King, and I love Heidi's idea. Um, we did a little bit about nature today. What about y'all do anything fun for President's Day or for Valentine's Day? Nothing Pinteresting there.
I am not a
Pinterest, that's
crafty person. I'm just not. So, if we get something in, it's like last minute. Scraggling around because my 7-year-old is, I need Valentines for my friends. And so I am scraping to try and find something. So, as much as I try to be crafty and artsy and Pinteresty, I'm just not so good at it.
I would say for us, Pinterest is the place we go. I like to tie what we do. I don't do a whole lot of crafts, but I like to tie what we do into academic lessons. So we might do some Valentine candy math, um, some kind of science, and I'll find a lot of those ideas on Pinterest. Actually, on Our Journey Westward, if you'll go find Valentine's Day or even President's Day, I think there are some of those academic ideas on there for you.
I got tickled because I really did. I live for Valentine candy. All year, and my husband, my best friend know it, and it's just like I wait. I can't stand it. I was stalking the lady at Kroger the other day because she was putting out the Valentine stuff, right? Because it was like, it was on New Year's Eve, I think. Yeah, we were there New Year's Eve, so they're putting out Valentine candy, of course. But they didn't have out the kind that I want. I'm like the conversation hearts, which is perfect for the math. So my best friend brought me a big bag, and Cindy, you're gonna laugh. I did think about that briefly, the graphing, and I'm like, but then I'd have to give up my candy. So that didn't work so well. So I'm gonna have to buy another special bag of candy just for that. So yeah, now you guys all know that I'm a I'm a candy hoarder when it comes to my candy. What we're doing, I was going to tell you, Heidi, 3 words for you: Oriental Trading Company. I'm not that big of a crafter either, but I get these kits. The other thing bad about that, well, it's a kind of a good thing, bad thing. You do get like six, what? They come in like multiples of 6 or 12, it seems like. So a lot of times what I do is we either do the same things from year to year, like like we'll do this. Oh, I don't know what we do. What did we do last year? Some kind of little Valentine monsters. Well, then the extras I just kind of put away and then bring them back out again. Or my dear sweet friend Colleen sent me extras that she had last year for Christmas. So sometimes we'll share them with another family. Like, okay, hey, I have 12 of these. We either get together for like a craft play date kind of thing, or I just drop them off and say for the same age range and go here. We have extras of these. I know you guys would love it. And then we're going to do, I'm in the midst of a 30-day mom challenge where I'm going to read to my children every single day in January. That was something that I used to do before I had all the littles, when I just had a couple, because it was easy. Now it's a little bit more challenging because story time takes a long time because, they each want to pick out a book. The baby will fight. Everyone wants to sit on my lap or next to me, and there's only so much of me to go around. So, yeah, so like the logistics of reading are a little difficult. But we're going to focus on reading for the month of January. So that's going to be fun for me, and of course, fun for them because they love that kind of stuff. So,
You
excuse
said
me.
story time, Diana. That made me think of Barnes and Noble does story time every week for littles. Another great way to get out of the house for the winter. We used to do story time every week. The guy that did it at our Barnes and Noble, which also happened to be in the mall, convenient, um, did story time. So you said story time, and it made me think of it from the library to a local bookstore. It's another way to get out, especially with the younger ones, and hit story time. Um,
They
and
have
I'm
co-
lazy,
they
then
have
someone
co-
else
they
can
have
read.
they have coffee there too.
That's right.
One thing about story time for us is we're so busy during the spring and summer and fall seasons, that winter is just kind of the perfect time to snuggle up with books and read all afternoon sometimes. We don't do that always, but winter's a great time for getting those good read louds in. And that brings me to another thought that I had was educational videos. I know we have a whole series of Liberty Kids videos and I don't know, the history of America and stuff, and we never take time to watch those. But those cold winter months, especially when people get sick and can't really do much else, we'll all kind of sit around on couches and do those kind of things that are sitting there, and they are resources, but we don't have the time to do otherwise.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's going to segue actually beautifully. I need to make myself a note. We're going to be doing teaching with technology in a few weeks, where we will be talking about using the resources that we have for homeschooling: iPads, Netflix, Hulu Plus, all these fun things. I think you and Colleen do some kind of discovery streaming or something, don't you, Cindy? Like this, there's like science videos, streaming things, all kinds of stuff that you can use, online resources or technology. So we'll talk about that in a few weeks. So I'm glad you brought that
That
up.
that's not me, but I do use
Mm,
technology a ton. I'm excited about that hangout.
that one's going to be fun. Marlene, what do we have over in the event room? I saw a few things go by. Some people are using these months as planning because
Yes.
they're not quite so busy.
Yeah, we have actually quite a few comments on the planning and different ideas, so I'm going to go through them. Let's see. So Crystal says that she is looking into next year's curriculum with grades next year from 1st to 7th. It's a really broad spectrum. And I need to buy my youngest her Braille learning materials for next year since she's legally blind. Ashley Pache says that she starts thinking about which curriculum she doesn't want to continue using next year, but she won't start planning until mid to late spring. Madeline says, though we do have summers off and about 3 weeks in December, we begin our new school year in January. So this brings the new curriculum in with the new year, since the outdoors is covered with snow and frigid weather. The boys are not always wanting to go outside. Having a new curriculum to start always brings excitement within a year, and the winter break in December is what I use to get ready for the new school year. That's pretty awesome planning. Renee Brown, she says wintertime is a great time for pulling out the Lego bricks and connects pieces, letting her son thrive in the engineer department. And then Crystal, when you guys were talking about Valentine's, she says that they make secret Valentines for members outside of the family who may not have someone there all the time to tell them that they're loved. So those are all that we got for now.
I love all those ideas. That was interesting. Madeline's been with us in the event room before, and that's a fascinating way to kind of look at the year to start. Instead of at the traditional school year time with the beginning of the year. That's an interesting concept, and I don't think I've ran into anybody that's done that before. So that's pretty awesome. I like that idea. All right, ladies. Well, we've touched on a few different things. Talked about kind of how to keep your kids active during this winter season when it's not bright and sunny outside. Fighting cabin fever for ourselves, fighting cabin fever for the kids. Kind of some of the fun projects that we do that we've got going on at the beginning of the year. Um, and then a little bit of planning. So I don't think, unless we've got questions, and I don't think we've got anything. If you guys have anything else to share, let me know. Otherwise, I think we've wrapped everything up today.
Diana, you were talking about being a sports person and getting into sports during the wintertime. And I know here, at least, we have a ton of sports activities that can be done, competitive group sports types of things, from hockey to lacrosse, basketball, swimming, soccer. My son's big soccer player, so we are indoors during the winter, absolutely. Swim, we have swim leagues going on all year long. My daughter, too, is a horseback rider, and we ride together, so I feed the sub-zero temperatures with her. Um, but there are definitely a lot of options as far as getting your kids involved in sports, even, indoors for the winter. And we have our kids in. My daughter's a competitive gymnast, so she's indoors year-round. So there's a lot of sporting options to get your kids involved with. It could be an organized, once a week, twice a week type of thing, to get a couple of the children out of the house, get around other people and, get some physical activity in that somebody else is organizing that, you don't have to come up with or create. We take my son to soccer and sit at the table and, have a cup of coffee or a can of pop and talk to the parents that are also there for their children's sports. So it's a way for, us parents too to get out and have some time with other parents and let somebody else, work with the kids for a little while.
That's a great idea. And then I want to pick. I don't mind getting out and getting active, being active outside. Actually, when I'm not on hiatus, um, I enjoy running in the winter. It's funny. My husband and I are like complete polar opposites. He would rather run in the summer. Not me. No way. No how. Because the humidity and whatnot just kills me. If it's above like 70, I don't want to run outside. Because like today, I think it's probably like 15, 20 degrees. Not bad. I'd like to run in this because, I'm freezing to death for like the first 10 minutes or half a mile-ish, well, around that. After that, it's fine. The weather, the air is crisp. You feel like you're just working harder, So I don't mind the cold weather as far as running. And then I don't know, is lacrosse? I thought lacrosse was outside. I don't know anything about lacrosse. Obviously, I thought it was outside.
Oh no,
Uh,
we have absolutely large leagues, indoor lacrosse leagues
okay.
going on right now. In fact, we took our son to one of the local sports arenas for his birthday party, and it's just overrun with back-to-back-to-back lacrosse games. And so at least here we have a very large indoor. I mean, they also play outdoors during outdoor weather like soccer would, but there we actually have a very large grouping of lacrosse and indoors for the winter.
Cool. I'm glad you mentioned that. And then as far as riding, girl, I'm a big fat chicken, so you're not gonna find me. You won't find me up on that horse. I think they're beautiful. I just don't. They scare me to pieces. I trust my daughter's instructors inherently, and she's obviously fine with it. But it is funny to see this tiny little girl, and she's skinny as a rail, hop up on this big old horse. And I said, "Aren't you nervous?" She says, "Oh no." She'll be like, "I was crazy." She's like, "No, absolutely not." I mean, you know, whatever. It doesn't bother her. Cindy,
My
you go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Heidi.
my little one got thrown off her horse at the age of 6, and I have it on video. I was actually videoing her. It was like one of the first times she started jogging the horse, and I have it on video. The horse spooked and spun around, and as she's falling to the ground, you hear her going, I'm okay, Mommy, I'm okay, because she knew that I was going to be upset. So she was trying to convince me that she was okay as she was falling off the horse. And to this day, she just thinks it's so funny. She's like, I was fine. I needed you to know that I was okay.
Oh, I love that. That is sweet as can be. Oh, Cindy, I know you've got some. Do you have some winter? I think you've got some winter study things that you need to plug too before we wrap up, right?
I have a few. Yeah, Nature Explorers has snow and ice study. We have Coping with the Cold, which is an animal study. Hard as a Rock, animal signs, deciduous trees, conifers. We have all sorts of nature explorer studies. And then I actually have a preschool kindergarten winter study too that is a lot more hands-on, some things indoors, outdoors. They could serve as unit studies. They could serve to get you outdoors for the winter. And that's all I can think of.
Awesome. I thank you girls once again for coming and hanging out and spending your afternoon with us. It's always loads and loads of fun. I enjoy getting to chit chat with you people, and then I learn from the event page. We get ideas for different activities. It's so much fun to do these every week. As a reminder, you can join us here every Tuesday. It's 2 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Central, noon Mountain Time, and 11 a.m. for folks on the Pacific Coast. That's if you want to watch us live. You can also catch us on YouTube after the fact if this time frame does not work out well for you. And then also you'll be able to find us on iTunes. And as you can tell, I'm super duper excited about that because we had wanted to do that because a lot of people may want to listen like on a commute. I'm a big podcaster on, during commutes while you're exercising, while you're cleaning your house, whatever you can listen to it while you don't have time to actually sit and watch. So it's a great new venture for us. So once again, circle iHomeschool Network on Google Plus. Go check out Cindy West and Heidi Ceravola and Marlene Griffith. Cindy, tell me your website again.
OurJourneyWestward.com and ShiningDawnBooks.com.
Excellent. Heidi is at startsat8.com and Marlene is at adiligent.heart.com. And we will see you back here again next week. We've got some great things coming up for January. We've got teaching with technology. We have teaching your kids writing. Just a great one that we've got coming up. Involving homeschool dads. That's going to be a fun one. And then also the ins and outs and co-ops. So that's going to be some of our topics that we're covering during the month of January. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.